Well, what up, you guys? You guys think we would be on the radio in New York someday?
No.
Back in June?
I probably shouldn't know what we're doing. Exactly.
Oh, yeah. We're just having a chat with Billy. That's all we're doing.
We probably shouldn't even tell me the depths.
No. We're just having a chat with Billy, dude. That's it.
We're just going to talk about the fucked up world now.
I can't breathe and I'm getting ready to start crying. You shouldn't tell me.
Oh, you're going to be good. You're going to be good.
Yeah.
Dude, this is effortless.
Megan, I needed you there today when I was getting told to switch masks at the store.
Oh, we needed the Heretic Girl
I would have got
Fury.
us thrown out of there.
Yeah. Well, I stormed out.
I was going to say, yeah, well, there would have been some storming.
I was so
I'd like to have that
inside,
happen
man.
in the business before they ask me to leave, before they demand my presence be gone.
I'm like, well, they didn't demand my presence. They're just like, you can switch and wear this. And she could tell I was mad.
Yeah.
And so she's like trying to offer me something else. But it's just they're so brainwashed into this thing, you know? And it's so sad.
There it is.
Pump the volume here a little bit. What time is it?
59 on my end.
All right. All right, guys, just follow my lead, okay?
Perfect.
You guys will be fine.
Perfect. Audio
Oh,
okay?
by the way, as soon as we go into the radio, mics are hot. So whatever you say is going to go out on there. All right, here we go.
That's what I got out of the way.
TFR, what's going on? My name is Billy Ray Valentine. This is the Infinite Fringe, live right here on Truth Frequency Radio, on hackerhameen.podbeam.com, on the infinitefringe.podbeam.com, on Apple Podcast, on TuneIn Radio, on iHeartRadio, anywhere else you can hear my voice. How you doing tonight, man? Thank you for joining me on this Sunday evening. It is beautiful out here in New York City tonight, man. It's a beautiful evening. It's chill. My boy Eddie Van Halen passed away this week. And in tribute to that, we're going to play some Van Halen before we get into this, all right? Let's see if you guys can hear it. There was Jump, right? I love Jump, right? Everybody knows Jump, right? But I wasn't a huge fan of Van Halen until later on, when I really started appreciating, the guitar riffs and what they do. I was a big fan of Sammy Hagar also. I know I'm going to get some heat for that. I love David Lee Roth too, okay? It's the Infinite Fringe. I have a very special show for you guys tonight. It's a full house, by the way. I should just tell you, we have a ton of people here today. There's no room for anyone else. We're stuck. We're packed in like sardines here in the green room. But I met these guys and gal over on, I always screw this up. Guys, make sure you correct me if I get this wrong, but it's Union of the Unwanted, right?
Yep.
That's right.
That's
That's
it.
right. All right. I met them over at the Union of the Unwanted. This is something that a couple of people put together. Charlie Robinson was the one who dragged me along. Shouts to Charlie. But there were some people there that you resonate with and that you liked, and my big dumb mouth podcast. I mean, they had me on. I like them a lot, and these guys that I have here right now. And I love Godzilla. So if you ever saw their logo, maybe I should take that and dump it into the chat. You would see what I'm talking about. But the Truthzilla podcast is here with me today to shoot I'll leave out the expletives for later. But they're here joining me today, guys. Man, thank you. It's a pleasure to have you on with me here on Truth Frequency Radio. Your maiden voyage. I'm sure we'll do this again many, many times. How you guys doing?
Oh, man. Super stoked to be here, dude. Thank you so much, man. This is quite an honor. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Do me a
definitely. We're
favor,
honored
guys.
to be here.
Oh, man, the honor's all on, like I said before, bro. Do me a favor, guys. Just go around and introduce yourselves. Tell everybody who you are.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'll just start. My name is Scott. Just been looking at these things for a long time, and just during the COVID thing, Ed here was just like, dude, we got to do something, right? And
Wow.
and we just took action. We're like, okay, we didn't know. We just went to Guitar Center, bought some mics and a freaking thing, and just like set it up, dude. And just like we didn't know. At first, it was just like we're just gonna start shouting into the abyss and see what happens, right? You know what I mean? And then like, holy crap! Like right away, we started to get really good feedback, and then started
Fantastic.
networking with some of the other hosts. And it's just, man, it's just been such an amazing journey, dude. Like it's been pretty awesome. So anyway,
And
yeah.
it just started, bro. So you guys, there's nothing but light ahead of you guys, man, and it's dope. I appreciate all of you. Go ahead, continue.
Well, I'm Ed. Scott kind of gave a little bit of an intro, so I'll let Megan go after me.
Oh, okay. So so I'm Megan. I'm the fiery one that gets. I have a little bit of a nervous breakdown before every time that we start recording. So that happened just like the last 6 minutes before we talked to you. They both had to deal with the nervous breakdown, but now I'm here.
She's doing good, dude, and I think she's made quite the reputation. Like we've been saying, like Megan, you are like the star of the show. Like,
Totally.
Like we're like
For
holding
sure.
you back because you guys, like when she gets on a rant, dude, it's like it's unstoppable. It's legendary.
Yeah,
I get past that initial I get sick to my stomach, so I have a little bit of like that talking in front of people thing, and it just gets to my head. But once I get past that, then it rolls.
Exactly. She's channeling. She challenges Alex Jones on the
That's
regular,
it.
just like
Absolutely.
hilarious.
That's what I'm going for.
You
Yeah.
guys are amongst friends right now, so feel free to do what to do and how you want to do it. And I welcome a rant or two. So Megan, feel free, okay, to
Yes.
even if it's chopping apart something I said, I'd love to hear it. Okay, so go right ahead and do all that. So you guys got together, and it's because of COVID, during the COVID era. Like Scott mentioned, a little bit of COVID happened, and that's why you guys decided to come together like Voltron and do this, huh?
Pretty much.
Well, I'll take this one.
Yeah.
So, me and Scott have been friends for 2 or 3 years at this point.
Yeah.
We kind of knew we were on the same level, but we came from different aspects. He's been listening to Alex Jones for years and years and years,
And Sam and
Sam and
and
everybody.
Billy.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I came from more of the vaccine world. I fought a little kicking and screaming. My kids have been injured by vaccines, and their mother was pushing against this for quite a while, and I was the responsible father that said they can't be the vaccines, until one day I got onto a podcast that just kind of flipped the switch for me, and I said, man, they haven't really tested these things. They, and I started going down that rabbit hole. I mean, I'd always knew 9/11 was BS and this and that. I was kind of, I think there's a special kind of person that's questioned the government on the things, the lies we've been told over the years. But that was the big one when I found out like that vaccines just the benefits are way overstated and the dangers are way understated. I would say that's the simplest form, but there's a lot more to it than that. But when me and Scott started talking and then COVID hit, and I've seen these two worlds collide. The people that have been against mandatory vaccines and the people that in the conspiracy world. There's got to be a better word than that. But anyways, these two worlds kind of came together. And so I said, Scott, man, we gotta speak up, because when I'm going to work, everybody's bought into this thing hook, line, and sinker. I feel like I'm a crazy person now, like everyone around me is just bought into this thing, and all I'm seeing is New World Order all over all this stuff, So I talked to Scott, and then Scott talked to Megan, and here we are, 6 months later, and man, this community has really welcomed us, and I'm so thankful to be a part of this community now.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
I don't know that we'd survive. I don't know, emotionally, like just during this time, us having each other, like this whole truther community, all of us having these connections, with you, we spoke to Mel K last week, Ricky Brandis, everyone in this community has such a wealth of hope is really what it is. I mean, it's information and it's flipping the whole narrative, anything that any of us really were shaped to believe and to accept. And not being alone in that knowledge is super empowering. I think that's been something that set me free in all of this. And for me, there were a few little things that I was aware of prior to this whole pandemic, and it really did take, because Scott and I are, very, very dear friends, and we talked as all of these mandates were rolling out back in what was it, April? I guess was it April?
Yeah.
And really. yeah, I just started falling into rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole. And really kind of my love of all of this started with William Cooper. I sort of get lost with him a little bit. And where this little quiet passion, this little fire started. But really the COVID just opened the door. It's like Ed said, the whole the entire thing being New World Order agenda, everything that we're dealing with, everything we see happening in our state, everything we see happening in our communities, and even in our relative circles, it's pretty powerfully overwhelming, and I'm so grateful and thankful. And I write them at night like, I love you guys so much. Can we please get together? Like, I just need us to all be a force. Can we just be in the same room? Because it's powerful and it's empowering and important.
Totally.
So, completely agree. I went to a store today and
we'll tell them where we're from. So we're in Eugene, Oregon.
Yeah, we're
in the
Eugene,
belly
Oregon.
of the beast, about 2 hours south of Portland. Okay.
Yeah,
So go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, no, I went to a natural grocers today, and this is the second time this has happened to me. But I was wearing a mask that apparently this store had decided that my mask doesn't meet their criteria for masks. So
I've never heard that one before.
Oh, this is the second. Costco did the same thing to me.
Wow.
And so, anyways, they offer me this other mask, and I went and saw my kid's mom, and she could tell I was boiling inside. Said, "Just go wait outside." So I'm calling Scott.
Yep.
But I had to tell him, on the way out, I'm like, what was my wording? I said, I just don't support a business that wants to add rules on top of these draconian measures issued by our government, So I let them know my piece a little bit, but it's a tough world to be in right now when the world around you they've bought in on a level that is, I can't relate to,
That's it.
Well, you know what? It's a lot of the things you guys said, it speaks to my mind because I'm there, right? And it's not just because of COVID. It's been a lot of my life. Like, maybe I don't belong here. I don't know. People don't exactly see things the way I see them. And I'm willing to go as far as to say I might be wrong about a ton of this stuff,
Sure.
The way I feel about it, but it's not everything is wrong. Yep. And some things are off that other people just don't see and people like you guys and myself and everybody listening, people do see that for some reason. There's something different. I like to say it's something in the spirit.
I agree.
That's what I like to say, that's what leads us to where we are right now. And you know what? I said when the COVID thing popped off, man, and I'm here in New York, and I was like, man, this is it. It's over. Oh my God. Right. Because, they were talking about martial law and all this other stuff. And it did happen in some sense. But overall, it was like a soft martial law. It wasn't, the hardcore, even though saying that to somebody that's lost their business and lost, their livelihood, you'd probably get smacked in the face. So I have to watch what I say when it comes to something like that. But I did say, I was like, there's a silver lining here. And people will wake up and people will act, on those feelings and, and try to make something of it. And that's what you guys did. So, man, it's dope. I commend you guys for it, for coming around and getting together and doing what you do. I know it's not easy. In particular, you guys all have lives, you guys all have families, and then to come together and record and you guys aren't making any money out of this. Most of us don't make any money here. We're just trying to do what we do. So and you guys went out and bought equipment. So I know how that is, man. It's I just bought a new computer because my audio sucked, So
Yeah.
So you just have to do these things sometimes. But I commend you guys for coming out and doing that. Now, what are your feelings on this? I want to talk about, we have a few minutes left here on the first half, and I want to talk about COVID, and then on the second half we'll talk about what we see for the rest of 2020. I think that'd be kind of cool. But as far as COVID goes, everybody's all over the place with this thing. And if you believe the mainstream, Trump just caught it, and he's fine. And 2 days later, he's like, I'm good. I'm Superman. But anyway, how are you guys feeling about that whole situation? What do you guys came together because of COVID to do this, right? And now we're 6 months, 7 months into this thing. What are you guys feeling? Whomever wants to take it, go ahead.
I'll jump in. I think I mean, I think, as you said, we don't have enough information to know for sure, right? So I'm not going to like say I have this thing figured out, but you know, I go back and forth a little bit between different schools of thought. You know, like David Icke says, and you know, Dr. Andrew Kaufman said, you know, that they've never isolated this virus. Right. So there's a whole argument to be made that you know that this could be something else. I'm not going to deny there's been a death spike, especially in certain areas. Right. But we don't know exactly why that happened because we haven't actually proven that there is a virus in the first place.
Well, they're not accurately saying what people are dying from. Like they're and that's the huge issue I have with all of this is the lumping of so many different illnesses and sicknesses that are already taking people out. But then, you know, it's like, you know, we talked about there was someone that we know that was, you know, being tested over and over and over. They had a relative being tested in the hospital over and over and over. That was elderly, that was sick, that was essentially about to be on hospice.
They want that COVID,
but they want that COVID, you know, number. They want that COVID test, and I feel like it's such obvious propaganda and it's such obvious agenda because, again, I mean, we're not doing this with tuberculosis, right? We're losing, you know, 1.5 million people to tuberculosis a year. We're not doing this before people, you know, make sure that people are really, really good with the, you know, behind the wheels of their cars before we let them out for, you know, those deaths. We're not doing this every year with the flu and how many people are dying from that. And we're not talking about how many people died from the flu vaccine. I mean, I could go on and on and on, but it's so maddening. But the fact that we have, I mean, I feel like that the greater populace really has a lot of faith in the medical community. You know, those are our gods, quote unquote, end quote. Those are our doctors. That's where the answer people are. And the truth of the matter is that's the perversion of the truth because they're not. And though many physicians are wonderful physicians and we want to have those kind of people, right? We get in car accidents. 100%. We have kids that fall out of trees, right? We have people who have serious heart issues, you know, and it's not to say that these are bad people, right? It's just like anything. I could tear apart Child Protective Services, but I've also worked with a lot of really amazing social workers. So, but by and large, the medical community is bought and paid for by a big pharma, and they are very much indoctrinated.
And big pharma, I mean, we know that every one of these companies is, I mean, they all have felonies for lying to the public about killing people. Absolutely. Every one of them.
Absolutely.
So when you know that you've been lied to on that scale, I mean, that's why we're all here is because we know we've been lied to on that scale. But, you know, and back to COVID, I mean, I just think, you know, on the other end, you know, maybe this is a real virus, but even if it's a real virus and you buy in, it's a bad cold for most people. We have the data to show, you know, I mean, if you're under 60, I mean, your chances of dying from this thing, I mean, the flu is going to be worse in most cases. So I think it's just been so politicized and the propaganda around it to push forward this agenda, you know. And the problem is, and this is why I get upset when I go to a store and they try to make me change my mask, is because, I mean, from my point of view, this thing ain't going away.
Right.
It's not going away.
Yeah.
What this agenda of what they're using, it's not going away.
Well, the government isn't big on taking people's rights and liberties away and giving them back. I mean, where in history have we ever seen that? I actually am curious. I'm hoping that I can have hope in that area, and someone will actually like write us and say, "Hey, there's this time in history where the government took." We have hope, but that's my little the fantasy side narrative, right?
I always like to look at like how many terrorists has the TSA caught, man? How many terrorists is the TSA? Well, why do we have the TSA? How many times
have you taken off your shoes and your belt, though?
Oh, exactly, man.
It's a good thing to do that.
Every time I travel, right, and I opt out of the body scanner, so it's always a thing with me every time. So I have to get to the airport about at least an hour and a half earlier to ensure that I'm going to make it to where I'm going to make it on time, because I opt out of everything. I get patted down in front of everyone there. It's just what it is. I'm like, whatever. They're like, do you want to do it in a room? I'm like, no, just pat me down right here, man. And then last time I traveled, man, they spotted some substance or something. It took me about 30 minutes until they figured out that I was fine. It was a donut that I had in my in my bag. No, but Megan said something that I appreciate very much, you know, because we point fingers in this community, and a lot of times it's justified, you know, but most of the medical community, people that are, you know, doctors and nurses, and they want to do right by you. You know, and I know a lot of us know doctors, and a lot of us know nurses, you know, physicians assistants, all of those. We know them, you know, because they're you and I. They're not trying to kill you, you know. So it's important to spot whether we may disagree with Rockefeller medicine in general, you know, but the people that are administering this medicine, they're not trying to hurt you 9 times out of 10. there might be an outlier of people that might want to do that, but it's gonna be a hard time trying to find these people. As far as the virus, the only thing I will say is there is a multitude of evidence that this thing has been isolated. So I don't understand where that narrative comes from. Mr. Kaufman was on the show. We had a discussion about this. And pretty much, in my view, what they're trying to do is say that how do you make Kool-Aid without water? You have to isolate the freaking Kool-Aid. No. You need the water to make the Kool-Aid. You understand? So it's the same thing about isolating this virus. They want to catch it completely alone. That's not the way this thing works. It's not the way science works. I mean, regardless of not that science anyway. Not that I'm a virologist by any stretch, okay? But from what I've been going in on. So I don't understand that whole narrative of it's never been isolated. There's papers upon papers upon papers. And if people, not you guys, I'm not talking about you in particular. I'm just talking about if people want to go ahead and say this thing has not been isolated, then it's on them to prove it. So I think Andrew Kaufman needs to prove that this thing hasn't been isolated. And he says, no, it's not on me to prove. They have to prove that it is. Like, dude, I don't really subscribe to that. I'm like, you're coming out with this, and it might be potentially dangerous considering what's going on. People did die here. 200,000 people. I don't know. I know people in hospitals that have told me that people died due to intubations. There was a lot of that happening.
A lot.
And that sucks. And that might have been for lack of knowledge. Moving in on this stuff. It was the novel quote unquote coronavirus. Now I do think it's a massive overreaction. What's going on here?
Yes.
A massive overreaction. And maybe an overreaction is me being conservative here. Maybe, and I think that's where how you guys got together and this might be nefarious. It may not be just an overreaction. This might be a planned thing in order to impose whatever agenda they want to impose. Sure. And I'm not saying that that's the case, but we at least need to look in that area and not shut ourselves off to it, because that's where we stand right now. This is the world that we live in. Closing thoughts. We got about 3 minutes left here. I'm going to throw it to Ed. Ed, what do you got to say?
Okay, well, I would say as far as the virus goes, what we know for sure is the CDC did quietly release that 6% of the deaths that have been recorded have only COVID-19. So, and the rest of them had 2.5 times or 2.5 comorbidities that were reported. So I don't think there's any world you can say that they haven't manipulated these numbers. We've had doctors come out and they've said they've never told us to record deaths like this. They've never done it. So, these doctors are trained to identify what killed a patient. Now we have doctors coming out and saying, well, they're saying throw that rule book out, and you need to, if it looks like COVID-19, call it COVID-19. If they have COVID-19 but they died from something else, call it COVID-19.
Right.
They've also incentivized the hospitals to with the Medicare, if you call it COVID-19, you get $5,000 extra. If you put them on a ventilator, what is it, $19,000? So that there's this monetary incentive. So I don't think we can rule these things out. At the same time, there probably is a virus, right? So I mean, there's a lot of information they throw at us. There's also that scientist from China that came out and said this virus has a fingerprint, and we've isolated it. It came from this Wuhan lab, and we can prove it, right? And that stuff was taken down right away. And the level of censorship going on right now is disgusting. Yeah. We can all agree on that. Yeah. So right. There's a lot of stuff that we don't know for sure, but even if this virus is real and it's attacking us, I think that the numbers are being manipulated. I think we can all agree on that. So
I think you're absolutely right on that point. We don't know what we're being fed is probably lies. It's probably not. Yeah. It's an agreed upon number for what I don't know.
I feel that if they gave us the facts, if they gave us the actual true numbers, if they were real with us about these masks being essentially garbage, if they were really being real with people, there wouldn't be fear. There wouldn't be people turning against one another. There would not be this huge divide. This is absolute agenda as far as anything that I can see, perceive, spiritually pick up on. This is absolute dark agenda, because again, why would you need to make it be bigger, badder, and scarier if it's...
And we have a case study where they didn't do it. We have Sweden. Sweden is basically done with this virus. It is run its
buddy,
course.
let me get at you right now. Hold that thought. We're about to go over to the other side. I don't want you to get into something and we can't flesh it out. So let's talk about Sweden, and I want to talk about division. It's my favorite subject, Megan, because that's what they're doing to us. They're dividing us, and that's the ultimate agenda here. But we can talk about that on the other side, guys. Scott, I'm going to ask you to tell everybody where they can find everything you guys are doing.
Okay, yeah. So we have YouTube. Yep, YouTube channel, youtube.com/Truthzilla podcast. We're on all your podcast players. Just type in Truthzilla podcast. We're on Facebook and Instagram at Truthzilla and Twitter at Truthzilla Pod.
Truthzilla Pod joining me today here on the Infinite Fringe. Make sure you go check them out and everything that they're doing. We need to support each other in order to try to make some headway here in what it is that we see before us. Times are getting crazier and crazier and crazier. My name is Billy Ray Valentine. This is the Infinite Fringe. We're going to move over to the other side and we'll do shout outs, and then we'll talk about the divide, and we'll talk about Sweden, and we'll talk about anything else that we feel like talking about, ladies and gentlemen, because that is what we do here. And maybe I'll play a little bit of more Van Halen. That's a positive. That's probably 100%. It's going to happen.
It is.
I love it.
So stay tuned for that. And make sure you want to holler at me, theinfinitefringe@gmail.com. Send me an email. I will get back to you at some point. All right. Not right away, but I will get back. And if you have any guest suggestions and all that stuff, I will be sure to try to make that happen for you. All right. It is just a little bit. Here goes the music. See you guys soon. All right.
Great.
Yeah.
I removed TFR from the call right now. So
Cool.
This is the halfway point. You guys can edit this out if you wish, or you can air it. I don't care.
It's all good, man.
How do you guys feel about everything so far? You guys are killing it. Personally, I'm having a lot of fun with you guys. It's an easy show. You guys are going. I'm just like, oh, okay. So how about this? So I'm having a good time tonight. But we're gonna talk about Sweden, right? We're gonna pick up with you, and then I want to get into the divide because it's like Megan for sure. It's like my favorite subject.
I think it runs right into that because I think
that's the point.
Yeah,
that is the point. It's not only the point of this; it's the point of every freaking thing.
Yep.
Like it's just that's the end game is to divide, and once they have us divided to a point where we can't, dude. I mean, and we'll talk about this on the air if you guys want, but I think that maybe it's done. Do we come back from this? Like after November, I don't know how we come back from this. I
don't know either. We talk about that all the
November
time.
4th rolls around, man. I guess that's a deciding factor. We have to see what's going on there after the election. But I really don't know if we come back from this, man.
Yeah.
It's scaring me.
Yeah. Me too.
How you boys feeling?
Oh, we're good, man.
Awesome, dude.
I mean, that's why I get so mad when someone gets mad at me about a mask, because it's like, I don't think you've thought through, like, is this going to end? You really think we're going to do this long enough? And then it's...
They're talking about
I don't think anyone's thinking through what it, like when people think ahead, like, where does this end? I think they just, I don't think they're actually like doing that forethought into the future thing. Like there doesn't seem to be a lot of actual true thought process happening. Like it seems like it's just going to end after the vaccine comes. Well, what does that mean? Why is that not concerning anybody?
Like they even said that now, that the vaccine will come and it still won't end. I've been watching a lot of CNN lately, and I hate CNN. I hate CNN.
Monsters.
And I've turned it on to watch. I've been watching a lot of it.
Sure.
And they've been making some good points on some points, and then they defend total nonsense on others. But they came out and said, and it's good. You need to, at least I find that you need to listen to your enemies. Otherwise, you have no idea what the hell's going on.
Yes.
Right? But they literally said, yeah, you're going to get the vaccine. That's not going to cut it. This is not, it's not, there's going to be more to it after the vaccine. So
they've said,
I just won't get it and handle it from there if that's the case, right? Like, what's the incentive? If we're still going to be going around doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Certainly.
All right. I mean, we're in. I got to add the studio mics are hot right away. Okay, guys?
Cool.
Truth Frequency Radio.
What is going on, everybody? Truth Frequency Radio. My name is Billy Ray Valentine, and we're hanging with the Truthzilla podcast, ladies and gentlemen, while we jam out to a little bit of Van Halen. That was Jump. Love that track, right? The most notable Van Halen track for the mainstream, right? If you're a big head, like a Van Halen head, you'll probably have other favorites, but the mainstream, they're going to remember this. This is probably the biggest hit they had, and I know Eddie Van Halen caught a lot of shit for using that synthesizer. They didn't know if it was going to pop off, but look, it's a legendary track now, man. And wherever it comes on, people pop and start doing their thing. Good times. Rest easy to Eddie Van Halen, a legend, right? Probably, I mean, in the conversation for the greatest guitar player of all time, right? He's at least in the conversation. And he passed away today, so not today, this week. God bless him. We're here with Truthzilla. We're going to get with them in just a sec. But first, I want to shout out the chat. Sophia the Bot, what is going on? How you doing, Sophia? Bammy, God bless you, Bammy. How you doing? Good to see you. Alan Holman, what is up, Alan Holman? I haven't seen you in a sec. You know what I want to do, Alan? I want to have a show in December with a bunch of you listeners, you know, when we sit in and talk. That'd be dope. So I want to have you on for that. And I want to have everybody on. So maybe we'll open up the lines and do that if I can ever figure it out, because it's taken me long enough. David RB, what is up, David? How you doing? God bless you. Greetings and blessings to you. Pencil Brainia, what's going on? How you doing? Good to see you. Gammy, what's up, Gammy? What's up, Wolfie? How you doing? Liz, the Iron Maiden, what's up, Liz? How you doing? And you know I'm gonna drag you in here at some point. It's happening. Bill 13, what's going on, Bill 13? Chef Eric, what's going on, Chef? What you cooking up in the kitchen today? I'm hungry. I'm coming over. I want some food. Whatever you got going on. Who is this? 2CY song. What's up, buddy? How you doing? How you doing? We're gonna talk soon, you and I. 2CY song. Cold Brews. Hell yeah. What's going on, Cold Brews? No WWE pay-per-view on tonight, sir. But thank you for hanging out. Anyway, you don't want to see that stuff anyway. All right. Johnny Angel, what's going on, Johnny? How you doing? Greetings and blessings to you, Johnny. Good to have you. And of course, the Truthzilla podcast is in the house, but they're here sitting with me. How you guys doing? Thank you for being on the Infinite Fringe of the second half. What's going on, guys?
Hey, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah,
I'm having a blast.
Like-minded people.
Right. I'm having a blast with you guys, man. Like I told you during the break, just like, you know, it's plug and play. You guys, boom. Yeah. You know, opinions and a whole deal. I'm digging it. Listen, let's pick up. Yeah. Let's pick up where we left off. We left off with Sweden, right?
Yep, Sweden.
Do it.
And I was just saying, you know, Sweden is the case study that this can be handled differently. Sweden, you know, everybody, when Sweden did this, they're going to have so many deaths, you know, they're not doing, there's no mandates on social distancing and masks, and, you know, they're not locking down the country and all these things. And basically, Anders Tegnell, the chief epidemiologist over there, said, you know, if we do this, how are you going to ever get out? If we do a lockdown, how do you ever come out of a lockdown? Because there's never been a case study of doing that, right? No country's ever locked down like that and then come back out. And that's what we're struggling with right now, because we've been in this thing for 8 months. And how do you come out? You know, how do you say this is the time where you can, now we can go in back to the movie theater, or, you know, whatever. But right. Anyway, Sweden, you know, they had what I would say is like a normal virus curve. Right, there was a big lump up front. That, you know, there was a bit of deaths. Everybody at first said, "Oh man, look at they're having so many more deaths in these countries around them." But then they reached herd immunity, which is what he said the whole time. You know, and if you listen to the World Health Organization or the CDC, they're going to tell you, "Oh well, that doesn't happen with this virus." You know, not like every other virus. You know, you can reach this herd immunity, but not with this virus. You know. Which is a whole nother rabbit hole, because if you're going to say that herd immunity doesn't exist, and you know that the antibodies don't from reinfection of this virus, then how the hell is your vaccine going to work? Because all of our vaccines just create antibodies. So whole nother story. But I think that the big thing that with Sweden is, and what we're getting at, is that they trusted their people. They said, here's how dangerous this virus is. You guys do what you're going to do. You know, we're not going to close anything down, but if you might want to, you know, the elderly people might want to stay home, you know, we'll trust you to make that decision for yourself. You know, we're going to leave these businesses open, but, you know, social distancing is probably a good idea. They left it up to the people to make that decision. What we see now is that virus has been gone from Sweden for months. There's hardly a death in sight. You know, that they have reached this herd immunity, and the people are united. They're not against each other like they are here in most of the world right now. Really, you know, and
that's fantastic. You know, that would be dope if it happened here. I know there are arguments against it. What I'm going to do is, and I don't know them off the top of my head, so I can't give them to you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to hook you guys up with Mr. Neil Sanders. Are you familiar with Neil Sanders?
No.
If you're not,
familiar.
I'm going to get you guys familiar. He does a lot of stuff on mind control. He did a few documentaries for Iconic. David Icke, they got him to do some documentaries over there. He's a very smart guy. I love him. He's my friend. I dig him a lot. But he has a very, very controversial view on the virus and everything else. I had him on the Fringe. I got a lot of good feedback for it, but a lot of people disagreed, but they still thought it was great because he's so entertaining. I want to hook you guys up with him. That way you guys can ask him all the questions you want. And I think that'll make an excellent show. And and he can pose whatever. And he's receptive. So you guys can shoot whatever you want at him and tell him how you disagree, and it'll work out. So I wanna do that. Please hold me to it. I'm scattered brains and I will forget. But
For sure. Is that the guy you interviewed a few weeks ago you had on?
I spoke to Neil a few times. Yeah. I mean,
okay.
About a month ago, maybe.
About a month ago. Yeah. Great. Yeah. I really like that one.
But if one thing that I can take from that is that they did trust their people, right? Which is dope.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
You would want it to go down that way. You want a government to be that type of hands off. They're not supposed to be as hands on as they are, but people are, we take from them and then we expect them to move off for other things. And it's not that way. If we take, they're going to continue to impose themselves on us. It's a tough situation. It's not easy to walk that tightrope. But anyway, we were talking a little bit, or at least Megan mentioned the division, and I want to talk about the division here in the second half because for a while over on America Unplugged, I used to use the phrase we have to unplug because we have to come together, right? We have to come together because if they divide us, then we're screwed. And they've been dividing us effectively for many years now, but I've never seen a division quite so bad as it is right now, at least not in the States. I know a lot of the listenership here is from around the world, so let me know. But here in the States, man, people are divided as ever before. I've never seen anything like it. And that is the ultimate goal for the New World Order agenda. If you believe in the New World Order, the deep state, the Illuminati, whatever it is, man, right? It was divide from the beginning, from the Bill Cooper days, right? From even before that, Anthony Hilder, it was the divide. And now it's here and we're seeing it and it's happening. First off, let's go to Megan real quick since you brought it up, right? Give me your thoughts on the divide and how it's being done. And later on, I do want to talk about, is there any hope? Can we come out of this? Go ahead, Megan.
Yeah. As to the divide, I feel I always go back to, I feel everything I've seen, everything that I can tell, anything that I have researched, this is all New World Order. This is literally global enslavement. And we spoke on Switzerland. I don't know what, I will be honest and say I don't know what Switzerland's, Sweden's presence in the world stage is. So I don't know how that is with them like backing away from this whole New World Order thing, with them not locking down their citizens, with them not pushing this on them. But I feel that the attack that's happening from within in America, in my opinion, in my view, this is America sets the tone for the world. We are the stage. We are the vision of progressive love, of inclusivity, and to have America be divided means that we can fall. If they can make America fall, then the world has fallen. That is absolutely what I think. That's what I see happening. I think this is definitely, we have elected officials. We've got, George Soros. If we just look at his history in other countries of bringing, other nations down and the ways that he's done that, I think we're seeing that here play out. Any research that I've done, and we're going to do a big episode on this coming up. But all of the divide, everything that he stands for, the people that he funds, the people that follow him, and all of these different groups that are about destruction. They are about, division. This is not about people looking to, be made well, have, injustices be made right. What I'm seeing is literal destruction, that is the beginning and end goal. And on the broader stage, I don't mean necessarily that, individual people that can have, a good ideal. But when we're talking about the truth of the roots of these agendas, I believe fully that what they are pressing for and trying for is this divide, because they really do have to have America come to her absolute knees to take over and have this New World Order roll out. We are one of the powerhouse countries to stand in the way of this. The citizens of this country can do that, but we can't do that, like you say, divided. And they have absolutely, I'll speak to Oregon. The governor here is absolute vile garbage. She's a wicked, wicked human. I fully believe that her hands are, she is shoulders deep behind the problems with the arson. That's my opinion. Katie the tyrant. So I will start to get really, really going hard into this, but on that's what I'll say to open it up that way, and maybe give it over to one of the guys here. But that's
Let's
what
go
I
to
see.
Scotty. We haven't heard too much from you, buddy. I want to get you in here. Come on, man.
For sure, man. Like, don't let the dreadlocks fool you with Megan, dude. Like that's the thing. Yeah. It just occurs to me too. Like, it's so orchestrated too. Like, I really curious to know, like, what a social media feed looks like to somebody who's on the other side. What information are they being fed? What information am I being fed? I've had moments where I'm like, I take a step back. I'm like, God, am I wrong? Like, how much of this my original thoughts? Like, how much of this has been literally spoon-fed and placed into my head for me to have these views, have these thoughts? Like, I feel like almost as if, and I've heard, a really interesting study on this is like Tracy Twyman, before she passed, she had a really good, like, if you go to Up is Down podcast, Dean Reiner, he's got a 3-part series, and she's talking about this thing where it's like literally like how much of the internet is completely fabricated to the point where, like, if somebody of a certain viewpoint is going to pull up and do a Google search, are their search results going to be different than what I get? You know what I mean? Like, it's just like how much of it is just literally, are we all just a pawn in this game? And it feels like they have the technology to do it. They have the motive to do it. The AI. And the AI, and like, who knows really? And so it feels like we are pitted against each other. And I think Megan made such a good point earlier that, like, if there was any truth to it, like, all the fear would go away. It'd be like, hey, yeah, if we had like a genuine sense that either the government or these experts or the media or anybody that was disseminating this information had our best interests at heart, then there wouldn't be such fear. And that's what it is, like the uncertainty, and it's like I can't get a straight answer for the life of me, and that's where the fear comes from. And so the people that buy into that fear, I'm like, I'm not willing to go down that road. Like, it's like I have autonomy over myself, and I will, you know what I mean? And it's like there's lines that have been crossed over and over and over and over, and it's like when that line eventually gets crossed and I'm not willing to have crossed, like, what's that going to look like, And so it's very deliberate, and I just feel like it's that's where the frustration lies, is that I feel like the divide is so deliberate that we are under attack, and it's frustrating that other people don't see that we are the ones that are under attack.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. We, right. You keep saying it's all us. It's and that's what I want everybody to see, man. It's us. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how we look. It doesn't matter where we come from. We are the we. It's us.
Yes.
We're the we, and we the people, right? It's us. We're the ones getting screwed here. And I need everybody to see that. When you talked about line steppers, it just brought something into my mind. I think it was Dave Chappelle. I'm almost positive. He's like, he's a habitual line stepper. He's like, you get slapped for shit like that. I forgot what it was that he said, but I need to find that clip and insert it here. That way we can talk. That way I can let the audience hear what I was talking about, man. But habitual line steppers, and that's exactly what these people are. But it's not even that. They overstep, and they've overstepped, so they're way over the line at this point.
Oh, yeah.
And we don't trust because we've been screwed over so many times. There's people that are like dogs. I hate saying that, but it's people that they'll get screwed over and they're fine the next day, or they'll get punished and they're fine, or the next moment they're fine. Okay, I'm fine. I feel differently. I was telling my friend John Brissom about it. I feel like when they pick up the hand, I'm all like, trying to protect myself because I'm feeling the hand coming down on me. even
Yes.
before it does, because it's a type of trauma, so
Yes.
it continues to happen over and over again. And you can find examples of this in history. We're not crazy to that point. There's a reason why we feel the way we feel, and there's a reason why we distrust the media and the government and so many other outlets, because they continue to lie to us over and over again. I'm giving it to Ed, and we're gonna finish up with Megan. Go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, the lies. I mean, I think I was just listening to Charlie Robinson. He just did a whole episode on the lies, and I think that's why we're all here. We realize how far we've been lied to. Like, once you've been lied to that much, that kind of, now everything's open, right? Like, whatever they could do, it's not. I think the people that we're divided against, they have some trust still left in their governments and the media that's given it to them. At this point, I almost assume when the government says something that it's a lie. I'd rather assume that it's a lie and then investigate and find my own evidence and see what happens there, Anyways, but at the same time, this division, and on the West Coast, we've been bombarded, and the whole world is too. We got the George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter. We've got the protests over in Portland. It's been hundreds of days. I just got stuck in another protest the other night. Here in town, we have continual protests. We had the fires, and I just listened to your episode with Matt Landman recently that was amazing, and he really went into the fires and all those things. And we know that there's weather manipulation and this geoengineering and these things. There's these other things that could explain some of these things, And again, I don't know, but I don't assume that I'm being told the truth either.
Right.
So that's where I'm at. I think right now. Yeah, it's hard because I don't want to be against people. Right. I want to be with the people around me. I want to see them, but at the same time, they've created cancel culture to the point where I can't say what I believe around most of the world right now. Like, I can't go to work and say what I believe or say that this might be a lie, because then I am pushed away. Then I'm a crazy person. And that's the divide that's really scary to me,
And that's a hell of a point that you make, Ed. And the thing is, like, unsuccessfully, I've been trying to find a way to communicate this to people that don't exactly see things my way, And before, I used to be like, "Hey, you have to look at this," and that doesn't really work very well. So I'm just trying to figure out a way to, because we have to respect each other at the same time. If we come at people like they're idiots, they're gonna treat us like idiots. You understand? Like, they're not idiots, and neither are we, So we need to respect each other's frame of view before we move forward, and maybe that's the best way to do it. Megan, we got 5 minutes left, actually 3 minutes before we get to the goodbyes, but are we coming out of this? And if we are, do we have any solutions?
Oh, geez, I don't know if you want to end with me if we're looking for hope at the end of this.
hey, I'm looking for the truth. So if there is no hope in your mind, you go ahead and tell me that.
I think that individually, there's hope within our families. I think there's hope within our, our like you spoke once before when you were on with us, just about, like, if you were ever to, like, make big moves, it would need to take some time, right? You would be moving with your family, and it's going to take some time. And I think that's sort of the consensus here. Worldwide, is this hopeful? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. Do I think that America's going to fall this year, before or immediately after the election? I don't think so. Do I believe that that's where we're headed? Yes, 100%. I don't know that. I think that it's a very good chance that we are past a point of no return here. And I've spoken before about this being, we are the platform, and we can't lose America to this divide. We can't lose America to this new world order. They need that to happen. They can only make that happen through the division. One of the things that what you touched on about us being respectful to people with a different, viewpoint and coming from different places, and this is, and I'll go back to Bill Cooper. This is a psyop, right? This is psychological war. We can go back into MK Ultra and even prior to that, right? So, but to bring it all forward, shoot, I lose my train of thought sometimes.
No,
bear with me here.
You know what? I mentioned that the other day on a show. I think it might have been last week. It's happening to so many people. It happens to me all the time, but it happens to so many people that I know. And I've been noticing it now. I think it's something in the air that's literally, maybe it's all these, the 5G, the 4G, the 3G, because people talk about 5G. We need to go back and talk about the 3G, right? That was bad too. You know,
Right.
so maybe it's all of that that's in the air that's making us have these slips. It happens to me all the time. It happens to so many people I know all the time. So Megan, don't feel bad because it happens all the time. Go ahead.
Well, so I feel that one of the huge things that I try to view people now from a mind, when you speak to somebody for any length of time, and it doesn't take much, you can kind of get a beat on whether or not, and I always use the word discernment, whether or not somebody is open and has an ability to have discernment. And the truth of the matter is not all people do. Not all people have it. Not all people can tap into it. I feel that, you talked about 5G towers. I'll go to fluoridated water. I'll go to, GMO foods. I can go to factory farming, right? They've been poisoning and perverting our minds. They would like to see our pineal gland be shrunken and hardened. They like to have that's our spiritual center. They need to have us separated, our mind from our spirit, because we don't have discernment. So yes, I always want to be careful who I speak to and how I speak to them, but also, I was told my whole life, you have a big mouth, girl. You have a big mouth. I've always been pretty opinionated, and really throughout my 20s and early 30s, I was browbeaten and taken away from my own voice. And I really believe that was the right thing. I wasn't being ladylike. I didn't have grace. I wasn't being classy. I had a lot of that, and now I feel fully empowered.
Now
to
you have
say,
a platform.
Well, I've been taken apart so hard for the things that I say on this platform. Now it's just well, that doesn't even hurt. Say what you want. Now I'm not hurt anymore.
Yeah.
But really, we do want to have that empathy for people, and we do want us all together. But also the message that those of us trying to carry the truth forward, we can't. I say this you can't just speak to somebody that's sleeping and hope that you're maybe planting some seeds in their subconscious, right? But they're not hearing you. You have to speak to people who are either becoming conscious or they're awake. Right. And so I want to be always mindful of the sleeping people, but I want to use my energy and my intelligence and all of my fire to the people who are ready to pick up and hear what needs to be said, because those are the people who are ready to be united. What we need
Megan,
to do is unite.
let me get you right there.
Yeah,
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, 100%. I agree with all that. You have a little bit of pitbull in you, maybe a whole lot of pitbull in you. All of you guys. It's the Truthzilla podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, listen, I had a blast. Thank you for joining me this Sunday. Tell everybody where they can find you guys.
Yeah, once again, you guys, just any of your podcast players, we got a YouTube channel. Follow us on social media, Twitter at Truthzilla Pod, and then Facebook and Instagram at Truthzilla. Love to see you. Thanks, guys. Billy, you're the best, man. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, man.
So awesome.
No, man, thank you. We'll do it again. I want to do it again. You guys have an open door policy whenever you guys want to come on and kick it with me on Sunday. I'll be more than happy to have you. It was a fun show. Hey, listen, everybody. Let me see how much time we got. We got about a minute left. Thank you guys for tuning in this Sunday and every Sunday, man. I really appreciate it. It means a whole lot to me. I know it means a whole lot to the Truthzilla podcast and everybody else, all my guests and everything. I'm very grateful, very, very grateful to have you. I had a tough week, not a bad week, a tough week. But I was grateful to come out of it, man. So I was really looking forward to tonight, because I got to get my mind off of a couple of things. Listen, man, thank you for providing me with that. And I hope we provided you with some entertainment and, a little bit of info that you can go and look up and maybe disagree. And if you disagree, feel free to send it my way over at theinfinitefringe@gmail.com. My name is Billy Ray Valentine, man. Greetings and blessings to all of you. I love you guys. For real, for real, for real. And hopefully I will see you guys next week. I got something for Heal Thyself next week, most likely. But let's see if it even happens. I don't want to announce guests because you guys know, every time I announce a guest, it just doesn't happen. So I don't want to tell you who's supposed to be on next week. But if it doesn't happen, you got me, and I will be ranting for an entire hour about things you probably don't want to hear about. But it is what it is, what it is. Make sure you join me over on Twitter at Oba1YouKnowMe. And everybody, please stay safe. I don't hear my music, but if it comes on, it comes on. I'll be fine with it. If not, take it easy, guys. There you go. See ya. See you guys next week. Truthzilla, hold on for a second.
Hell yeah. Censorship and regulation is becoming an ever-growing problem in today's modern media.
Boom. Done. You guys killed it.
Dude,
you guys freaking killed it. I had such a freaking great time. I'm not lying. I'm not even blowing smoke up your asses.
Yeah.
You guys freaking killed it. It's like you guys were saying that Megan was the star of the show. It took me back to, I don't know if you guys are into hip hop, But back in the 90s was the Fugees. I don't know if you guys remember the Fugees.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
One of the greatest hip hop albums of all time.
Lauryn Hill.
They would talk about Lauryn Hill, and Lauryn Hill was incredibly talented, and she was next level, and she stood out. You know what I mean? She had a voice, she could sing, she was gorgeous, she could rap, so she stood out, right? But everybody forgot about Wyclef, you know, and Wyclef was fantastic, right? And he came out and asserted himself, and even Praz gets a bad rap, but he produced that entire freaking album of the score, and then he stepped up and did his own thing, you know. So all three of them had something to offer, and that's what I feel about you guys. All three of you guys have something to offer, man, and it's dope. I wish you guys much success, like I said before, man. And anything I can do to help, I'm more than happy to. I don't know how much I can help, but whatever I can do, like don't be shy. Like just you guys have my info. I'm gonna actually drop my phone number in there. All three of you take it.